a lengthy break, it's time to get the series back going. Welcome to round 3 of the Barber Pro Series. The competitors are well rested and they're keen to get going in their 2002 campaign. Hello, I'm Lee Diffie and welcome to the beautiful Laguna Seca here in California for the third round of the 2002 Barber Pro Series. Well, the championship has got off to a great start already, and particularly for the young Californian AJ Allmendinger. Jeremy Shaw, welcome to you again. This young kid's going great.
Absolutely amazing start to the season. He's won the first 2 races from the pole, so he has a 100% record. And now he's on home turf. He lives just about 20 miles away in Hollister, California. However, there's several other youngsters trying to knock him off that perch, and one of them is the Brazilian Rafael Sperafico. When he was last year in Monterey, California, he clinched the Rookie of the Year honors. That was the end of last season, so he is now trying to get that first win under his belt.
So Sperafico denied AJ the hat trick of poles. Let's take a look how the rest of the field qualified. It was an incredible time for that pole position. Just 1/100th of a second denied Allmendinger that pole to Sperafico. Back on row 2, Julio Campos and the Mexican Mimo Rojas.
Row 3, Christian Schimjack, his best start in his second series. Alongside him, Davey Cook. On row 4 of the grid, Leonardo Maya, the big scholarship winner from last year, and Mark Brewers.
Tommy Fogarty and Dan DeLeo make up the next row. We go back to position 11, Rhonda Trammell and Javier Gonzalez.
Josh Rem and Josh Bullier from Canada make up row 7 of the grid. Behind them, 2 Mexican drivers, Aurelio Lopez Jr. and Piero Rodarte.
John Bonini from 17 alongside Herman Quiroga, the Colombian Liviano alongside first-time starter Parthiva Sureshwaran.
Row 11 of the grid, Chris Baker from Texas and from Hawaii, Burt Frizzell making his first Pro Series start. The final row of the grid, Morgan Davies and Mike Richardson from Kelowna, Canada.
As they build up to speed, let's take a look at the onboards for you. Josh Bullier will carry this one as we join Leonardo Maya. Fantastic onboard shots, Jeremy.
They certainly are. Here we are. This is Julio Campos. He starts third on the grid this afternoon.
Well, it is Laguna Seca, one of the best circuits in the world. Jeremy, talk us around some of the features.
Tremendous racetrack here. The Andretti hairpin, certainly one of the best overtaking opportunities on this track. A lot of elevation change all the way from turn 5 up to turn 8. They're climbing uphill. Then turn 8 and 8A plunging downhill. That's the infamous corkscrew turn leading down into the rainy curve. A very quick left-hander, and then down another final overtaking opportunity into turn 11.
A very, very big time in Rafael Sperafico's racing career. His first Barber Pro Series pole. He's got the championship leader right alongside. They pack up nicely. Coming down where Jeremy just talked you through turns 10. This is turn 11, a good overtaking point. Keep your eyes out for that as they come onto the main straight. Your pole sitter is on the right-hand side of screen. Sperafico, he'll have to keep an eye out as well because Julio Campos in the Michelin entry is right on him. Doug Hill, the official starter for the Barber Pro Series, away from this round, so the kart official starter Jim Swintel will throw the green as they build the speed now. Here we go, the green is out on the pole sitter. Rafael Sperafico gets away to a beautiful start.
What a great jump there ahead of AJ Allmendinger. Look at Allmendinger down the inside here. And on the outside line, a great move there by Mimo Rojas, all the way around the outside of AJ Allmendinger.
And Campos has spun. He throws it away in turn 2. Great to see that everyone took evasive action. Now he's a little confused. He's trying to spin the car around, and that's costly time-wise.
Yeah, it's awfully difficult to do with these cars because they've got a road-based clutch in these cars that we see somebody else spinning there, and it's awfully dangerous on that car for Julio Campos. That was John Vanini spinning off there in turn 3, Lee.
Someone else on the outside of 3, Jeremy, put a wheel out, but they were able to keep going. It was a little difficult to pick up who that was as they start to settle themselves down on the opening lap. All looking for the best possible position, but the man who's in the best spot is Rafael Sperafico as they exit the very fast turn 6. Now, oh, someone's off in the background. Someone has gone wide on the exit of turn 6. Sperafico leads them up. There's a challenge here as well on Mark Brewers, and we've already lost one car.
That's down in turn 4 in actual fact. We'll have to wait and see who that is. I think it's Morgan Davies who's off the road there. And I think the guy on the dirt coming off on the exit of turn 6, pretty sure that was a Canadian driver, Dan DeLeo, just lost a couple of places and was able to continue.
Rojas holds on to second as AJ Allmendinger is pressuring for that spot. And Davey Cook right behind them, but I think we will see a caution. Yes, we do. Morgan Davies' car just in too much of a precarious position.
Yeah, the yellow flags are waving there. We see the leaders slow down, and Davey Cook there. Perhaps Davey didn't see that yellow. He's kind of unsighted. He's really just watching those other cars in front of him. When they suddenly slow down, he's not quite sure what's going on for a split second. I'm sure he's seen the yellows now. That's why he moved to the outside, and now he'll tuck back into a line there, back into 4th place.
Well, it was a fairly eventful start to the race. Let's take a look at the replay on board with Julio Campos. Talk us through, Jeremy.
This is coming down the hill into turn 2. That great move on the outside by Memo Rojas, and Julio Campos there just got on the throttle a little bit too hard and heavy. There he hands up. It was my mistake. Now he's trying to rejoin the racetrack, and you can hear him there. He's on and off the throttle. That's not going to do that clutch any good at all.
Fortunately, not contacted by anyone. It gave you a brilliant view of how everyone ducking and diving, trying to avoid Julio Campos. So we're under caution here at Laguna Seca, round 3 of the Barber Pro Series. The young Brazilian has got away to a great start and leads the way. More right after this. You're watching the 3rd round of the 2002 Barber Pro Series, coming to you from Laguna Seca Raceway in California. Fairly eventful start to this one. One of our main contenders, Julio Campos, spun in turn 2. If you've only just joined the broadcast, we showed a replay of that, and he was able to keep going, but he's a little further back in the field. There's Mark Brewers, and there he is. Campos is out. He's come to a stop.
Looks like he's got power from that engine, but no drive. So here we are on board. Let's have a listen here. Yeah, he's got plenty of drive. He's got plenty of power there. The horsepower's not a problem, but I think he cooked the clutch trying to get that car restart after that first lap spin.
So costly error, not only for position, but that's it. It's all over for Julio Campos in the Michelin entry.
That's bad luck for him. He's a very talented young driver, and he came in here as the national champion from last year in the amateur series, and he's looking good. He qualified very well indeed on the 2nd row of the grid, but no points today for Julio Campos.
Speaking of points, coming into this race, he was 2nd in the championship points chase behind AJ Allmendinger, so he's started the year very well with a 3rd in Sebring and a 5th in Lime Rock, so that just shows you how costly it is for that young man there.
Yeah, he really did need the points this weekend to keep in touch with the championship leader, AJ Allmendinger. 2 wins and 2 poles coming into this weekend. He's not in the lead at the moment, but looking for another good score this afternoon. And here's the other car out of the race. That is Morgan Davies after that crash down in turn 4.
And that's a real shame for Morgan Davies in the LG entry, because he's got a lot of guests and VIPs from LG here this weekend in California, so disappointment for him. There he is, safely on the other side of the tyre barrier. His day has come to a premature end. So 2 out already, Campos and Morgan Davies. And we are still under caution here. You can see as the car's just keeping plenty of heat into the tyres. Great move by Memo Rojas, the car on the left of screen there, the Tecate Telmex entry, round the outside, and that's difficult to do in turn 2, Jeremy.
Yeah, it certainly is. Memo's he's a very talented young driver. He actually made his debut in the Barber Dodge Pro Series about 5 years ago at this very racetrack. But here's another onboard. This is onboard Leo Meyer coming down into turn 2 at the start of the race. So just a minor lock up there of the left front wheel, and watch here now as around goes Julio Campos.
But watch Meyer there. He almost lost it as well.
That was Christian Shimjak got a run there. He's now ahead of the other guy going into turn 4. And down the inside, there is Mark Brewers making a move on Leonardo Meyer.
This is a little later in lap 1. And wild and wide right out on the outside.
Yeah, that was Dan DeLeo outside, and this is Mark Brewers and Leonardo Meyer absolutely side by side going up into the corkscrew. On the inside line is Leonardo Meyer. He takes that position.
Sensational move from Leonardo Meyer in the Quaker State car. And we should be back to racing very soon. You can see the Simple Green safety team there helping out with the Julio Campos car. And Morgan Davies' car now being removed from the circuit.
That was a dangerous place where he came to rest there on the inside of the corner in turn forward. So we've seen a lot of guys spin in a whole bunch of different categories over the years here, and you really do need to get that car well out of the way there. You can't leave it parked up against the barrier in case anybody else does the same thing later on. So shame for Morgan Davies. He was looking for a good run this weekend. It's only his third start in these cars, second start in these cars actually, and that's come to a premature end his afternoon.
Yeah, he didn't start at the season opening round in Florida and Sebring, but did compete at Lime Rock Park, and there's our second car of Julio Campos. Currently second in the points, but that's almost certain to change after this race today.
Yeah, I think that clutch is fried on that car, and he will play no further part in the proceedings. And as we're saying, it is a shame. This guy, he's got an enormous amount of ability. He's a very personable young man. He's working hard at improving his English. It's already pretty good even so, and he is going to be a man to watch as this season develops.
Good look at the entire Barber Pro Series field as they make their way up the hill again. It's an interesting shot. Simple Green safety team hard at work as Julio Campos' car is removed. Order remains the same, and we'll get back to green on the other side of this. Stick around. The Barber Pro Series lives on speed. Thanks for joining us. You're watching round 3 of the 2002 championship, and that is your pole sitter, Rafael Sperafico. Got a beautiful jump on the initial start. We're getting set for the restart. Mimo Rojas and points leader AJ Allmendinger right in behind him. And here we go. We're set to go green. Jim Swintel waves it, and let's get back to racing. Allmendinger immediately pulls out of the draft of Mimo Rojas. Maybe he can repay the favor in turn 2.
And that is on the 6th lap now. Look at those two defending their position. And here comes Davy Cook. He takes full advantage of that, goes around the outside of Allmendinger. Perfect move by Davy Cook. A real opportunist maneuver. He saw his chance and he went for it and he pulled it off.
He's done a Rojas on Allmendinger again. So that's the second time that's happened to AJ.
Yeah, that's amazing too. I mean, AJ, he lives just a few miles down the road here, and he started on the front row, and already now he's back to 4th position. But at least he hasn't got carried away with that. He's just keeping cool. He's got to get himself back together and then try and make a few passes. There's a battle for position there between Leonardo Meyer and the Sunoco car of Mark Brewers.
Speaking of Californians, immediately in front of those guys is Christian Shimshak in the 34 entry. There he is there, just going through turn 6. There's Meyer.
And right behind Brewers is, who's that? That's Bulio, isn't it? Josh Bulio from Canada. He's made a fantastic start in the first lap of the race. He made up 6 positions. He's looking to make up one more there from Mark Brewers, but no. Brewers, the veteran in this series. This is his 3rd year in the Barber Pro Series, and he fends off that attack going into the corkscrew.
Good, hard, forceful driving from Josh Bullier, but he'll have to keep an eye out behind him. Right on him, in fact, is Tommy Fogarty.
Fogarty's having a good run. He's another local driver. Oh, there's Bullio on the grass. Well, dirt at least, on the exit of turn 10. But Fogarty, I don't think he's from just over the hills here in Patola Hills, just almost in the San Francisco area. A wine-producing country there, and that Fogarty family is a big wine producer themselves. He's not able to make a pass there, but now here's Dan DeLeo trying to make up from that dirt maneuver early on in turn 6.
That was fairly costly for Dan. He's clawing his way back. Meanwhile, up front, Sperafico still has this race under control. Mimo Rojas, Davy Cook, great move. It's paid off. He's sitting in third ahead of AJ Allmendinger. Top 4 haven't changed. Top 5 haven't changed. There's Christian Shimshak.
There's a good view there of that battle for third place with Cook and Allmendinger. And Allmendinger now is beginning to put the pressure on Davy Cook. Here we are. This is an overtaking opportunity, perhaps into turn 5. No, Allmendinger certainly not close enough that time around. And Davy Cook is able to maintain that third position.
Not only is AJ Allmendinger leading the championship, there he is also leading the Rookie of the Year as well. And the question was asked after the first 2 rounds, Sebring and Lime Rock, who can stop this guy? Well, maybe that question is being answered today, because he's having a much harder time.
Yeah, he looked to the inside there of Davy Cook, but Davy Cook was able to counter that move, just move across a little bit into the center of the track, under braking for the corkscrew, and again, maintain that third place. Good dice between these two.
Sperafico looks comfortable up front. What can Mimo Rojas do? Meanwhile, this battle for third is intensifying. Davy Cook is really starting to feel the pressure now from AJ Allmendinger. Can Shimshak get up in there? What about Leonardo Meyer and Mark Brewers? They're not done with yet either. Very early stages, long way to go.
Yeah, a long way to go. And you see there, this time around, Davy Cook's got a little bit of a breathing room over AJ Allmendinger. A good exit to turn 11, gets the power down onto that front straightaway and able to fend off any chance of a pass into turn 2. The 19-year-old Davy Cook, there he is, fending off Allmendinger. Allmendinger is very, very quick through the corners, but he's not yet put himself into a position where he's going to be able to make a pass.
Shimshak putting a wheel off there. Here comes Leonardo Meyer, and I'm pretty sure Leonardo would be getting a little frustrated with qualifying 7th in all 3 rounds so far this year. He'll want to be up a little higher on the grid, but he's well in contention for a good solid points finish at the moment. Allmendinger, he'll be getting frustrated that he lost 2 positions in the same spot on the track in exactly the same fashion. First it was Rojas on the opening lap, then Davy Cook.
Make a good point there, and that's really what sorts out the better drivers. If you get frustrated, then you tend to make mistakes. If you can keep a cool head, then you can begin to work on how you're going to make a move and how you're going to get past and get himself back up to where he believes he should be, right at the front of the field. 4th place, Allmendinger there on the dirt on the exit of turn 10. He's trying hard, he's making a few mistakes. We've seen that in the first couple of races of the season, and now he's got his head down and he is trying to make a move on Davy Cook. They're very close as they come under the starter's stand to begin lap 8.
It's great to see Davy Cook in the motorsport.com entry up there and getting rewarded for his good hard driving after that disappointment at Lime Rock where the throttle stuck. Gave us great television. It was a little scary for Davy though.
Yeah, he did a great job, and Davy there a little bit wide in turn 3, but he did a super job, didn't he, that race in Lime Rock. That throttle stuck open and he kept a cool head, changing down through the gears, got it off onto a safe part of the track, switched it off. Good job by him. He's doing a great job again this afternoon. He is under intense pressure from AJ Allmendinger.
And further back, look at this. Meyer has definitely closed that gap to Christian Shimshak. He's dropped Mark Brewers off. He's dropped back quite a ways now. So we'll keep our eye on that battle as this group start to bunch up. Good stuff. There's your race leader, Rafael Sperafico from Mimo Rojas. Let's not forget about those 2 guys, the Brazilian and the Mexican, doing a fine job up front. But this is where the action is, the battle for third. Davy Cook sustaining this pressure from AJ. Does he think about it this time into the corkscrew? No. Tucks in behind Davy Cook again.
2 very talented young American drivers, the 19-year-old Davy Cook, the 20-year-old AJ Allmendinger. They are locked in battle here for 3rd place. And as you say, just ahead of them there is Mimo Rojas in 3rd, and then this battle right at behind them.
Very significant weekend for the Barber Pro Series. They're on the Kart FedEx Championship calendar now. This is their first time for the 2002 season, and they'll be with the Kart FedEx Championship Series for the rest of the year. Sperafico continues to lead the way. We'll see if he can hang on after this. The action continues at Laguna Seca, round 3 of the Barber Pro Series. You're watching championship points leader AJ Allmendinger, the young Californian on home soil, trying to put a move on Davey Cook. This has been going on for a number of laps now, and AJ can't seem to find a way by.
Davey Cook is driving absolutely superbly. He's not taking any defensive lines. He's just driving his own race, and it's up to AJ Allmendinger to make some sort of a pass. And right now, he's not able to do that. There is still, though, a long way to go in this race. Davey Cook is good under pressure so far. Will he be able to maintain that throughout the afternoon? That's what we're going to have to wait and see.
And look at the margin 1-2. Sperafico has opened up on Mimo Rojas. So Rafael is pushing hard in the Dodge entry up front. Last year's Rookie of the Year, 7th in the 2001 championship, and really wants to climb higher and be the champion in 2002.
You're absolutely right, Lee. That was the quickest lap of the race so far, 1:28.201, so just over 1 second slower than he managed in qualifying yesterday. So at the front of the field, Rafael Sperafico beginning to stretch out just a little bit over Mimo Rojas, but then that great battle, I think those closed up a little bit on Rojas. Here is the Davey Cook holding off Allmendinger, and only a couple of car lengths ahead of them is that second place car of Mimo Rojas.
It's always difficult to judge, isn't it, Jeremy, whether perhaps Rojas has had a problem or Allmendinger's pushing Cook that hard that they've closed the gap to Rojas.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything, as I think, and Christian Szymczak there in 5th place. He's hanging right with them as well.
Good close stuff, not for the lead, but certainly for the other positions.
That's the first hint there of a defensive move from Davey Cook. He drives to the inside there. I think he didn't get off turn 11 quite as well as he wanted to. He felt he needed to protect that inside line under braking for turn 2. He did it absolutely perfectly, and AJ Allmendinger might have thought about going around the outside there, wasn't able to pull it off. Wisely tucks in behind, wait for a better opportunity later on.
Well, this is fabulous Barber Pro Series racing. You've got a bunch of 5 there, Rojas, then Davey Cook, then the championship points leader. Here we go, Allmendinger on the inside. He gets there.
And that's exactly what he was waiting for, Lee. He was waiting for a better opportunity. He got down the inside under braking, but Davey Cook able to drive around the outside.
Nice work. Davey Cook responds immediately. So that 3rd place was Allmendinger's momentarily. Look at this. Szymczak is right on the back. So too Leonardo Meyer. Let's ride with Leo now. Up into the corkscrew. Not in a position to make a move on Szymczak, but he can see the rest of the field coming his way. He's right up at the front end now. Szymczak is well positioned in the 34 entry. Big weekend for him, Jeremy. He's on home soil as well.
Yeah, a lot of drivers here on home soil. Szymczak, he's from Oakland, California. Leo Meyer, he's also from Oakland. And as we've already seen, AJ Allmendinger from Hollister, California. So a lot of local interest in this race, and some faraway drivers in the mix as well. Here we are once again on board with Leonardo Meyer.
Fabulous onboard shots from Laguna Seca. This is round 3 of the Barber Pro Series, and right behind this driver, Mark Brewers in the Sunoco entry has certainly closed the gap to the Quaker State car.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania there, he's from way across the other side of the country, with quite a bit more experience than those 2 drivers in front of him. There is Mark Brewers, a great shot of that car. Whoa, he's way on the dirt there, the exit of turn 4. And how much did it cost him? It only cost him, what, 4 or 5 car lengths maybe to this battle in front of him, but now he's going to work hard to make up that deficit once again.
Davey Cook maintains his 3rd position. Has handled this pressure very maturely from AJ Allmendinger, who's gone one way, gone outside, gone inside, has been all over the back of his car. But Davey Cook has not put a foot wrong at the moment. Rojas and Sperafico still up front.
Excellent, clean racing from these 2. That was a great move a couple of laps ago on the inside into turn 5 by Allmendinger. Davey Cook kept his head and kept the position.
Down into turn 11, one more time.
So important this corner, Lee. You've got to get the power on well coming off that corner. If you slip wide there, maybe get a wheel on the dirt, you're going to get some wheel spin. That's going to cost you momentum on this straight. This is so important. Over the crest here, slight left-hand kink in turn 1. That's over the hill there. Downhill now again into turn 2. And you can see the importance there of that good exit in turn 11. Davey Cook under no real pressure that time around from AJ Allmendinger.
12 laps gone already. Rafael Sperafico has seen a clear track ahead right from the green. Performed beautifully on the initial start and was pretty swift on the restart, as well as Allmendinger goes right out in the dirt on the exit of turn 4, but he's managed to hang on to it and didn't lose too much time. An anxious moment for the pits leader, but he maintains his 4th position and will continue to pressure Davey Cook. More right after this. The young Brazilian Rafael Sperafico continues to dominate here at Laguna Seca, round 3 of the 2002 Barber Pro Series from the Mexican Mimo Rojas. Meanwhile, let's board the Quaker State car. This is Leonardo Meyer. Davey Cook has put a wheel off and Armendinger is through.
Yes, he is. A mistake finally from Davey Cook, and coming into the cork. Oh, another mistake there from Davey Cook. He locks up the front brakes going into the corkscrew, and Christian Schimjack go down the inside, and now it's Leo Meyer putting pressure on Davey Cook.
Yeah, Meyer thought and felt he had a real chance there, but Davey Cook quickly regathered, but he's lost 2 positions. 1 second it was 3rd, next second he's back in 5th. He's got some catch-up work to do.
That's all it takes in this series. They're so closely matched, these Reynard Dodge cars, and one little slip there for Davey Cook, 2 positions back, and now he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to stay ahead of that battle between Leo Meyer and also Mark Brewers.
They've been together for a number of laps now. Keep an eye on that. The pressure is really coming on top of Davey Cook. Someone who has played a smart race and driven a smart race so far is 34, Christian Schimjack. Through goes Sperafico. There's Rojas. The new 3rd is Armendinger. Then it's Christian Schimjack.
Second-year driver. He's a local man here. He's driven absolutely perfectly this afternoon, has Schimjack. And then right now behind him, there is the battle. That's Davey Cook in the red car, just ahead of the Quaker State car of Leo Meyer. And right behind Leo Meyer is Mark Brewers in the Sunoco machine.
Schimjack got away to a nice start at the season opener in Sebring with a 5th, but it all went terribly wrong at Lime Rock Park when he finished 19th. So he's got his championship back on track. There's Mark Brewers.
He's on a bit of a roll at the moment. Had a great finish a couple of weeks ago at Lime Rock, and a career best 2nd place finish, and he's looking to go better than that this afternoon. He's got some work to do if he's going to maintain that though.
The world famous corkscrew as they dive down through Rainy Curve out of turn 9 down into turn 10. Davey Cook, I'm sure, is scratching his head and saying, right, how do I have to get back? I have to get back up there. How do I get back up there? There's a fair amount of ground between where he was. Oh, and Leo Meyer's made an error. He's drifted wide at turn 11.
Yeah, he got on the brakes a little bit too deep there, went wide into the corner, missed the apex, and Mark Brewers says thank you very much indeed, and Mark Brewers now up into that position.
Nice move. We'll see if Meyer can respond. He thinks about it on the inside and late on the brakes. Nice work, Mark Brewers.
It's the battle for 6th and 7th. Mark Brewers, he's made that place up again. Can he maintain it? A great battle between these two. Mark Brewers, he's passed so many cars this season. We saw him in the first race at Sebring. He went to the back of the field after spinning on the pace lap, came all the way through the field to finish in the top 10. 2nd place finish at Lime Rock, and again now up into the top 6 this afternoon.
He was a little bit embarrassed about that too, wasn't he, Mark Brewers, about that error he made at Sebring. Meanwhile, he's not doing anything embarrassing at the moment. He's performing well, climbs the hill as we ride with Leo Meyer, and he puts the pressure on Mark Brewers in the Sunoco entry. They climb the hill, totally blind, up towards the corkscrew. Meyer applies the pressure. Brewers has made an error. He locks up and goes off the track, and Leonardo Meyer has been able to get around him.
Boy, that was close. He squeezed the pass on the outside there, and Mark Brewers just managed to make control of the car, and Meyer just squeezed his pass between the car of Brewers and the dirt there. There's no room for error there whatsoever.
Good move. Mark Brewers will be frustrated with that. Back up front, Sperafico, Rojas, and Armendinger. And AJ Armendinger is really pushing hard now. He's closed the gap on Mimo Rojas.
And that, those couple of laps there with the Brewers and Leo Meyer. They've lost a lot of ground to the guys in front of them. No, so now we see the top 5 have a pretty good margin over Leo Meyer, who's back into 6th place ahead of Mark Brewers.
Laguna Seca was the season-ending round for the 2001 Barber Pro Series, and the round last year was dominated by Matt Plum, who won the race, started from pole and had the fastest lap. I'm wondering, Jeremy, if Rafael Sperafico can do the same.
Yeah, I think you must have watched that tape, don't you, Rafael? He's doing a super job this afternoon, maintaining his cool at the front of the field. And meanwhile, AJ Allmendinger is beginning to close on Memo Rojas. That now is becoming a battle for 2nd place.
And the championship leader, AJ Allmendinger, is really having to work hard now. The season has got off to an amazing start with 2 wins, but he's really earning his prize money today. More at Laguna Seca right after this. Welcome back to Laguna Seca. We're well into the second half of round 3 of the Barber Pro Series. The story so far has been Rafael Sperafico. Nobody has even mounted a challenge on the young Brazilian. He has been quite dynamic today, but this is pretty interesting stuff here. The battle for 2nd between the Mexican and the Californian. Memo Rojas has held on to 2nd for the entire race after a very bold move around the outside of the guy who's chasing him. AJ Allmendinger back to Christian Szymczak, having a tremendous run. And Davy Cook trying to make up for a little error earlier on.
It's splitting up into pairs a little bit, aren't it? At the front of the field, we see Rafael Sperafico, then that battle for 2nd place, as you say, and AJ Allmendinger really now beginning to apply the pressure on Memo Rojas. Last couple of laps, AJ's been very fast indeed. Meanwhile, the race leader, very consistent.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It looks like he's cruising and doing it easy, but he's pushing hard to stay ahead of Rojas and Allmendinger. They're not hanging around. We'll see if Christian Szymczak can handle the pressure from Davy Cook. Davy was running in the top 3 for the majority of this race, only until a couple of laps ago. And it was on the exit of this corner coming up, turn 6. Blind corner on approach, very fast and crucial to get a good run up this hill.
Yeah, it's a very difficult corner that you are blind as you turn in uphill there underneath the bridge, and it's very easy to stray a wheel off on the right side of the road. And you see there David Cook a little bit late on the brakes again, able to maintain his position there, but going into turn 6, it's very easy to get a wheel on the too wide coming into the corner, and that puts you wide on the exit. And fancy that is what happened to David Cook a couple of laps ago.
Look at this, AJ Allmendinger really starting to apply the pressure to Memo Rojas now. Good overtaking opportunity at the end of this straight into turn 2. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, the battle is beginning to be rejoined now between these two, and meanwhile, that was a very quick lap from the race leader, Rafael Sperafico. 1 minute 27.161, just 0.2 of a second away from his pole position yesterday. And look, he's extended that margin over that 2nd place battle between Rojas and Allmendinger.
If you've never seen the Barber Pro Series before, this is kart's official entry level to professional open wheeler racing, and these kids are fantastic. There is a lot of talent in this field, and this is step 1 on kart's official ladder system. From here, the Barber Pro Series, you step up to Toyota Atlantics, and then the final rung on the ladder is, of course, the Kart FedEx Championship Series, and no doubt that some of these guys will make it all the way.
Yeah, every single one of the guys in the field, they have their eyes on the Kart FedEx Championship Series. As you say, they're a couple of rungs away. The Kart Toyota Atlantic Championship is their next step on the ladder, and all of these guys, that's what they want to do within the next year or two. These two are no exception. Memo Rojas now really beginning to come under intense pressure from AJ Allmendinger. Can Allmendinger find a way past? Will Rojas stand up to that pressure?
Well, it'll be interesting, won't it? Because this is the same pressure that Allmendinger was applying to Davey Cook. Let's see if Rojas can respond. It hasn't been the most sensational start to this 2002 season for Memo Rojas. His best run to date, that's for sure.
Another good lap there from Rafael Sperafico, and that gap now over 2 seconds. That's the biggest gap that between first and second all race long. Sperafico absolutely flawless here at the front of the field, driving magnificently, driving consistently, and driving very quickly indeed.
1, 2, 3, Sperafico, Rojas and Allmendinger. And AJ has kept it fairly tidy of late. We've seen him drop a wheel off here, wheel off there. Got a little untidy on the exit of turn 4, but didn't lose too much time. That was shortly before the halfway mark of this race.
He is driving tidily. He's also using every inch of this race. Look at him over the curbing on the exit of turn 6, up the hill now into the corkscrew. Can he get close enough to make a move down the inside? No, he can't. Memo Rojas, he's just driving as consistently as he can, just trying to make sure he doesn't make a mistake. He's got his sights set now, not really on the race leader. He's watching his mirrors and trying, if he can, just to keep Allmendinger behind him.
Well, this is where the battle is. It's going to be pretty difficult for anyone to catch up to that guy there. Rafael Sperafico has led this race in a very, very sophisticated style. The battle is still on for second. Can Allmendinger do anything about Rojas? We'll find out on the other side of this. Round 3 of the Barber Pro Series continues at Laguna Seca, and this battle for second place continues. Rojas and Allmendinger, they're still at it.
Yes, they are. They'll be going, one or other of these two has been under pressure or pressuring somebody else all the way through so far. We're now on lap 20. We've got about 8 or 9 minutes to go, so probably time for another 5 or 6 laps, and there's plenty of time for a change of position there. Meanwhile, there is a battle with Shimjak and Cook, and back then to Meyer and Brewers, and not far behind Brewers, there is Josh Beaulieu. He is running now in 8th place and under pressure from fellow Canadian Dan DeLeo.
Been a fairly good run from Josh Beaulieu. Whoa! Dan DeLeo goes right off.
He seems to like the dirt here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. That's the second time this afternoon we've seen Dan DeLeo way wide on the dirt and loses quite a bit of ground there to Josh Beaulieu.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground earlier on. Qualified in the top 10 in 10th position. Dan DeLeo has been working very, very hard to regain some lost positions.
And like Sperafico and several other these drivers, Allmendinger and Campos, Dan DeLeo came out of the National Championship, the Amateur Series, making his move now into the professional ranks.
We mentioned at the top of the show that there's been quite a break between the first and second and now this third round, but the season, as Allmendinger just drops the rear right off just slightly into the dirt, the season really hots up now with the next round in Portland, and they follow the Kart FedEx Championship Series for the remainder of the year. Exciting stuff.
That's a good illustration of what I was talking about earlier on. When Allmendinger put that wheel onto the dirt coming off turn 11, it cost him quite a bit of momentum, and Rojas able to pull out 2 or 3 car lengths going onto that main straight, and under no pressure when they get down to the hairpin at turn 2 there from AJ Allmendinger. Now though, through those nuts, couple of quick corners here, turns 3 and 4, Allmendinger right back onto Rojas's tail.
Haven't seen much of our race leader, but there he is, Rafael Sperafico. Take nothing away from him. What a stylish drive it's been. But the action has been for the minor placings. And Rojas still holding Allmendinger at bay. Look at the gap back to Christian Schimschak in 4th. He'll be delighted if he can maintain that position. But he too coming under increasing pressure from Davy Cook.
Yeah, Schimschak, he'd be even more delighted if these two were to come together. He'd be looking at a podium place, and here he's just from Oakland, just to what, 50 or 60 miles away, and he's driven a beautiful race afternoon. There is Christian Schimschak coming through the rainy curve there, and there is Davy Cook right behind him.
Doing it fairly comfortably now, Christian Schimschak. Back up front, here's Allmendinger. The battle for second continues, and AJ is very close this time round. Has a look at Mimo Rojas, has to stay in the draft. Over the crest of the hill, and then the track lurches left and down to turn 2, but not close enough again.
No, it's not. You can see there Rojas just maintaining his line into that corner. Doesn't need to be defensive as they get right down to the apex of the turn. Allmendinger is able to get right onto the tail of Rojas, but he's not going to be able to make a move at that point in the corner. If he's going to make a move, he's got to be clearly under braking going down the inside. We see once again Allmendinger strays the left side wheels of that car onto the dirt, the exit of turn 3. Does it again at turn 4. Boy, this boy is trying.
Jeremy, what are the characteristics of these Michelin control tyres? Will we see them go off? It's a reasonably warm day today, not too warm, but nice sunny day as you can see. Will we see some tyre degradation?
No, we won't. These are super consistent, conservative tyres from Michelin. They really are. They don't go off at all. They cause absolutely no problems for these drivers. They will maintain their consistency all the way through the weekend. And even now we can see the guys at the front of the field, they're now, 21 laps into the race, turning their fastest laps of the race so far, and are only 2 or 3 tenths away from the best they managed in qualifying yesterday. That was just a 1-lap wonder. Now 22 laps into the race, going as quickly as ever. We see Allmendinger there faking to the inside, going down into the final turn 11.
Josh Beaulieu exits the corkscrew. Meanwhile, up front, Rafael Sperafico is on his way from a pole to checker victory. It's the run to home, Rafael Sperafico. There's the lead margin. He's doing it comfortably, but boy, oh boy, how would you like to be Mimo Rojas? He's got a mirror full of the points leader, AJ Allmendinger, who just will not go away.
No, not only that, he got a great run off turn 11 that time. You can once again, Rojas there, he ducks to the inside to prevent Allmendinger from diving down the inside. It's a lot easier, a lot shorter to take that run down the inside there to duck to the left under braking, and Mimo Rojas able to cut off that maneuver. Allmendinger once again just tucks in behind him.
It's always easy and convenient to say, look at the guy from behind, look how hard he's trying to pass. But what about the guy in front? Mimo Rojas has been rock solid. He has handled this pressure beautifully from AJ Allmendinger, and Allmendinger's going to have a tough time getting past the Mexican.
Yes, he is. Rojas has got quite a bit of experience now. He made his debut in this series 5 years ago. Since then, he's been racing down in Mexico. He's also been racing in the Formula 4 2000 Championship, so a lot of racing miles under his belt. He knows what it's all about, both to put a driver under pressure and to drive under pressure himself, and that's exactly what he's doing this afternoon. Not a foot wrong yet for Mimo Rojas.
out of turn 9, down into turn 10. Watch Armendinger here, because this is where he likes to try a different line. Put the nose up the inside, shows it, has a look, then comes back in behind the gearbox of Mimo Rojas.
Yeah, Rojas knows way too much at racing to fall for that manoeuvre there. AJ Allmendinger, this is his first full season in the pro ranks, and he's got maybe a lot more to learn than Rojas. He's trying to make Rojas make a mistake, but it's not happening yet.
The Barber Pro Series is enjoying its 12th year at Laguna Seca Raceway here in California. And the first winner all the way back in 1991 is a guy you know well, Jeremy, Brian Herder, who went on to own this place virtually in Champ Car racing.
Yes, absolutely incredible. But in Barber Dodge, and then later on, or Barber Saab as it was then, and later on in Indy Lights, and then in the Champ Cars, he was always on the front row at this track. It was a track he loved, a track he absolutely excelled at, and of course he made his way all the way up this cart ladder system to the very top.
The view back from Rafael Sperafico's car to Mimo Rojas and AJ Allmendinger. It's almost certainly going to be our podium unless something crazy happens with those guys dicing for second.
And time is ticking away here, Lee. We've got time probably for just one more lap. I fancy they will take the white flag this time around. This is a 40-minute timed race, and a good lap there from Mimo Rojas, able to pull out a little bit through the corkscrew section, down through the rainy turn and down into turn 11. Now, can Allmendinger make up that deficit? Can he make a pass? With just one lap to go this time around.
Rafael Sperafico sees the white flag. He knows that he is just 2.2 miles from his first ever Barber Pro Series victory. Look at Allmendinger, thinks about it, but nowhere near close enough. So he's got, well, less than a lap to do something about Mimo.
Yeah, once again, the faking to the inside there. And Rojas, he doesn't need to defend that line. He knows he's got 3 or 4 car lengths of a lead over Allmendinger, just able to take his normal racing line through the corner. Now, less than 1 lap to go. Only really another couple of opportunities for Allmendinger. And right now, you can see that gap between them, about 3 or 4 car lengths. Allmendinger has a lot to do if he's going to wrest away that second position from Mimo Rojas.
Coming up on one of the cars at the back of the field, Mike Richardson. I'm sure Mike will stay out of the way and let these top 3 come on through. But a very special moment for this 21-year-old Brazilian, Rafael Sperafico, less than half a lap from his first ever victory. A very special day. Motor racing runs in the family. His 3 cousins at the moment competing in F3000 in Europe. And he's got pretty big aspirations as well.
And smart driving there from Mike Richardson. He keeps well out of the way here. He'll let Rojas go through, and Rojas has pulled out quite a lead now over AJ Allmendinger.
At Sebring, round 1, it was Allmendinger. At Lime Rock in Connecticut, round 2, it was Allmendinger. But this time round, it is Rafael Sperafico, last year's Rookie of the Year, picks up his first ever victory in the Barber Pro Series. Fantastic stuff, and a wonderful, wonderful drive from this young man. Pretty stylish stuff. More after this. We'll wrap it up. Rafael Sperafico experiences that winning feeling for the very first time. Congratulations to him, a tremendous job. Mimo Rojas held Allmendinger out for that second spot. Shimshak a great 4th, and Davey Cook in the top 5.
And it's Josh Rem in 10th place there. That's a good result for him. He's from Massachusetts. He actually drove all the way out here to the West Coast. A fine result. And in 13th place, Tommy Fogarty. He was in the top 10 until that final lap.
A little further back, Carlos Liviano, Chris Baker, and Bert Frizzell making his first appearance in 2002. Now let's hear from our race winner. He's with Rick Radajak.
I just did my best, and I hope to forward to be the winner again.
You've worked awful hard for the past 2 years to get to this point, that's for sure.
Yes, for sure. I was frustrated last year because I was almost sure I had to win like one, but now it's in the time, and I go forward. I'm gonna bid for the championship.
You almost made it look easy out there, Rafael.
I was pushing very hard. My car was good. I wanna thank Barber Dodge and Michelin and all my coaches to get my cars very set up to this race. I'm very happy.
We're very happy, especially after the tough race we had at the beginning of the season in Sebring, where our engine blew up. We knew we needed to get up to speed to get to the points battle again, and we did it this weekend. Car was great all weekend. We were almost top 3 every session, and well, this is it. We had a great start. Tried to hold AJ on the outside of turn 2 at the beginning of the race, and well, things worked our way. We held the pressure, and we're here in the second place in the podium.
We take a look at how the points sit after 3 rounds, and Armendinger still at the top, but Rafael Sperafico rockets into second place ahead of Mark Brewers, Davey Cook and Mimo Rojas. Julio Campos, it was costly. He dropped from 2nd to 6th ahead of Rossoni, Bulliu, Shimshak and Leonardo Meyer. Well, a tremendous round here at Laguna Seca. It got off to a fairly eventful start with this young man, Julio Campos, in turn 2 on the opening lap, who spun. And watch this. Everyone avoids him. Wonderful stuff. We had a few hiccups early on, and Morgan Davies was one of the early victims. There was plenty of good overtaking moves, plenty of action in the Barber Pro Series. AJ Armendinger got a little bit dirty, and this was one of the moves of the race. Leonardo Meyer says, thank you very much. The battle for second was an interesting one, but at the end of the day, no one could catch Rafael Sperafico. We look forward to the next round at Portland in Oregon. On behalf of Jeremy Shaw, I'm Lee Diffie. Thanks for watching.